and welcome to... Sorry about that. Welcome to another episode of Bored and Annoyed. This episode, we're reviewing Us.
There you go.
Bored and Annoyed.
Us. Where do you want to start on this?
Well, first we probably should introduce ourselves.
All right.
I'm home at the movies.
I'm Jackson.
And obviously spoiler free first.
Yeah.
What were your general thoughts?
I really liked it quite a bit.
Okay.
Is it like the greatest thing ever? Probably not. I do think it's going to get stronger every time you watch it.
Okay.
I feel like there's gaps as far as the logic, but I also feel like Jordan Peele's really smart and there probably aren't. Like he probably has it way more thought out than what he put on the screen. Like in his head, the lore behind everything that's going on is probably pretty fucking mapped out.
Okay.
And he doesn't give you all of that. He just gives you like bits.
Well, he actually said in an interview recently that this universe has a bigger backstory that's not covered in this movie.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I feel like so I summarized it on my Facebook pretty well. I feel like so Get Out is kind of like it's kind of like Jordan Peele was a band and he came out and he was mainstream right off the bat. You know, he just hit this huge home run. Everybody loved it. And it's kind of like it's something that everybody can understand. This is much more, I don't know, I feel like it's deeper. I feel like it's more cerebral. I think it's probably a little harder for other people to parse out. So it's kind of like the sophomore record where that person is like, no, fuck you, I'm not mainstream.
It's like a concept album.
It's a concept album. Yes, exactly. He went full concept album on this. Now, I don't think it works. I'm not sure if it works as well as Get Out. There are the problems that you brought up with the logical inconsistencies. We'll get into that in spoilers, but I think that they're real.
Yeah, there's one in particular that like drives me nuts, and there's no way that he has an excuse for it. And yeah, we can get into that. But okay, so I told someone today because they asked me like, how was it? Is it better than Get Out? And what I said was basically like, it's not a better movie objectively, I don't think, but I might have liked it more. Like I can see myself going back and watching it more.
It's got a lot of good stuff in it.
Right. And it's like, and there's stuff like afterwards, me and the fiance were talking about it for like a long time. It's just like, what'd you think about this? You know what I mean? Like
it's a movie that will make you talk. Whereas like, I feel like Get Out was, I feel like you might like Get Out more if you hadn't seen that trailer, the first trailer.
That's probably true. That could be true.
Because I look at Get Out and I feel like from a script perspective, it's so incredibly, it's almost perfect in sort of like the setup, payoff, the narrative efficiency of it. It's such an efficient, clean, quick movie. And it's so clear with what it's saying, but not like, I don't feel like it's like bashes you over the head with it.
No, I mean, it kind of does.
It kind of does.
That's what it is.
It does it for humor.
But the difference, I guess I'm saying, is like with Get Out, it's like, oh, wasn't it neat how they portrayed this? And it's like, okay, everybody that's in that conversation, if you were having that conversation, would be like, yes, it's clear.
Yeah.
With Us, it's like, what do you think that meant?
There's a lot of questions.
Yes.
This is a movie that leaves you with questions, leaves you with discussions.
Well, and I think he, like, Jordan Peele probably has, like, concrete what it is, what he's thinking, right? But I don't think there's anything wrong. I don't think there's wrong ways to interpret a movie like this. Like, I think there can be, like, dual messages going on, you know, which I always like.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like Annihilation.
Right.
Where you're like completely fucking out there.
Yep.
But it's enough of like he toted the line between like the mainstream horror tropes and, you know, kind of like he did with the first one, I guess. But and the Annihilation light kind of like, oh, well, you know, when did this happen? Why is, you know, what are they talking about? How did this happen? You know what I mean?
And some people might not like it because it is a slower movie than Get Out. Get Out gets going right off the bat.
That's true. I didn't think it was slow, though. I saw complaints about that. I did not find this slow because there's enough humor in the setup where I'm like enjoying the characters.
I will say, and that's my other, and it's going to sound like I don't like the movie, and it's not obvious. What would you give it for a grade? And then I can go into this a little bit.
God, it's tough. It's between a B plus and an A minus for me.
And for me, it's like a B or a B plus. I don't really know. But when I think about this movie, I didn't think that the humor landed as well as it did in Get Out.
Oh, there was, but it wasn't as much of a comedy though. Get Out is like a comedy.
It's got some real comedic bits. That's very true. So for me, some of it hit and some of it didn't.
Okay.
So I think because of that, I felt like the beginning is a little slow, and I feel like that might, but I understand the point. The point is to create a tone. The whole first act is creating the tone, and the tone is unease.
Yes.
And you feel that with Lupita Nyong'o, who is great.
She's great.
She's great.
She really is. She's the best part of the movie.
She is.
Although the kid, the little boy was really good too.
He was pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
I liked him.
And I like the husband. I do. M'Baku from Black Panther.
Yeah, though, he's covering up an accent.
He is.
You can tell.
You can feel it in certain words.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to let that slide.
He's got a lot of charisma, which I feel like goes a long way with him.
He does. And he was great as like the evil version.
Yep.
Of himself.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. Spoilers in case you haven't seen the trailer.
Right.
I'm just kidding, obviously.
So I would recommend this.
I would recommend it also. It's not, go in understanding that it's not for everybody. You got to be somebody that kind of likes a cerebral movie. And,
don't think you're going to watch like fucking Friday the 13th or something.
And you're not going to get like a shit ton of jump scares. So if that's what you're looking for, this isn't the movie for you.
Was there a single one?
One, maybe.
Like, did it come with like the
it didn't come with the
sound effect?
It didn't come with the sound effect.
I don't think
that's
so.
For sure.
Right?
No, it's just something that, and it wasn't even. I don't know. But anyways, we can get into spoilers.
Sure, spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fucking crazy concept.
It's a good concept.
Yes.
It's very. Okay, so I'll be interested to see what you thought, because it's almost like a poem, it's like you take it different ways.
Sure, yeah, 100%.
But for me, it was like, this is very much like that Jungian sort of like idea of like the shadow self, and like everybody has a darker part to themselves that you need to incorporate into yourself to go into the real world kind of thing.
Right.
That's sort of the way I took it, because there's no clear metaphor for the shadow people underground being like, they're not quite the poor. It's not quite a clean sort of metaphor break, They kind of are, though. They're like the forgotten. They're like the downtrodden that you just like, step over when you're coming off the subway. I mean, and it's kind of there because they're created by, the government and the rich,
right.
So it's kind of there, and
they're created by they. Like he doesn't even tell you it's the government.
Yeah.
Like you just have to.
Yeah, it's just an experiment that somebody made.
Yeah, so there's like that, some of that stuff, like I'm not fully understanding a few things about how all that works, because like, okay, so you've got the scene with like the kid, and we're getting past like what it all means, but like just nitpicks.
Yeah.
So like the kid, when he kills the other version of himself, like the other version mimics him. He figures that out.
Yep.
But it's like, you didn't explain how that works.
Exactly.
You don't explain to me why, spoilers, the switcheroo thing.
Yeah.
As soon as the girl was uncuffed down, why didn't she just find her way out back into the real world? Like, that's not explained.
It's not. That's not explained. It's not explained how the mirror version of her is able to move on her own. That's not really explained.
Yeah, it's weird. There's
and then
stuff.
it's not. And then there are certain things, like when she's performing the dance, and the dance is happening both up and below.
Sure.
Why is it that it seems like original Lupita Nyong'o is being controlled by shadow version who's up top? Is there something that happens when they inverse?
I think it's the opposite. I really do.
Okay.
Like, that's what I maybe I'm wrong, but I think maybe shadow version is dancing.
Okay. But then the question is how is it that, so when real Lupita Nyong'o shows up and we think that she's the shadow version, and she's all like, oh, when the big girl, when you found your husband, I was forced upon with Abraham. Or whatever.
No, see, and there you go. I was just thinking that as I was talking, I'm like, but then there's that part where basically it's totally like you're led to believe that the real Lupita the one who, this is what's confusing about talking about this too.
Yeah.
But you're led to believe she was forced to get with the big dude. I forget his name. But yeah, you're right. Like, when did it switch?
Yeah,
like,
because it makes complete sense, sort of, how these people can reproduce down there, because it's like, okay, well, if they're shadow version, well, the real problem is that they would need an exact space that's as big as what we have up here to actually perform what we're doing on a daily basis.
Yeah, but they kind of showed a little bit of that. They're just doing like a dumbass version of whatever's going on upstairs.
Yeah.
I mean, because somebody's on a roller coaster, that was an example that they showed. Like, they're just in the doorway, like,
Yeah. But still, I mean, if you're going to have, like, if it goes for like the whole nation,
people, hundreds of millions, I guess.
And then it kind of makes sense, like, okay, well, if one person's having sex up above, then somebody's having sex down below, and those people, and it's just, that makes sense, like how babies are created in this world.
Sure, but why are the babies the exact same carbon copies of the ones?
It doesn't quite line up.
There's some suspension of disbelief that needs to happen.
Well, and then like the metaphor of like, these are the poor. Why is it that they look exactly like us? Why are they mirror copies? And why do they do exactly what we do, just stupid?
Well, so...
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's stuff to parse out with this movie, and it's not like
there was some sort of an experiment that went wrong.
Yeah.
And they just got left down there.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming there's something about them sharing a soul, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, something like that.
Where like that was the part of the experiment that doesn't work.
Yeah, so they don't have a soul.
Gobbledygook bullshit that explains it. But it's like, to your point, there are things like, to me, the biggest one to me is the fact that she doesn't just leave.
Yes.
I don't understand that.
And then my problem becomes this, like, how did these shadow people, how did they, stop? How did they stop doing what people were doing upstairs to get all these scissors made, to make the red jumpsuits, to get the gloves? You know what I'm saying? Like,
so I think that the Lupita that ends up down there turns into this like vocal leader, like charismatic leader, I would assume.
Yeah.
Hardly vocal because she can't really speak.
Yep.
But I think she's the difference maker who breaks them out of whatever they're in. Yeah. And they don't need to, but then some of them are still when they go down there.
Yes. So. Yeah. I mean, and that was kind of it's just one of those things where it's kind of like something that we talked about on a different movie that we saw this week, where if you have something magical, you kind of need to create clear lines that we can follow.
Sure.
Like the boy, when he puts his hands out, we need to understand that he's doing something that, I mean, we understand it, but we don't understand why this works versus, if the kid's running away, what's the difference
there
now?
Might be, maybe he's aware. Maybe like that's why.
What it is.
I mean, but and I don't like. I am one. I will nitpick when the rules don't make sense. Mm-hmm. Typically, like but this one is like it's designed that way. You know what I mean? Where it's like you're supposed to come out and blab about it with somebody. Mm-hmm. Just the things that work in this are great. Like the actual horror scenes, like there's the scene with the white family.
Yes,
great scene. Great
scene.
I thought the ending was great, even though like when I sat and pondered the twist for a minute, I was like, oh well, I don't know. But
that was okay. The twist. Call me whatever you want. I just saw it coming. Now the movie is good in that that was my original prediction. The second that we saw that other girl, I was like, oh, it's not her. That was just, but the movie in its defense distracts you long enough that you actually kind of forget that that's your prediction.
Right. I didn't get it until right close to the end.
Okay. But I did love that.
But but then there's other things to ponder that I really like in this. Like I know that there's an argument going on whether or not she knew the entire time who she was, or if it was just a repressed memory.
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting idea.
I think it's more fun to believe she knows.
I always thought that she knew, and that's like once the twist was revealed, I was like, well, yeah, she knows.
Right, but a lot of people think it's like a repressed memory and she doesn't figure it out until like right before she like kills the other her. You know what I'm saying? But to me, it's like it makes sense because she wants to go to Mexico. To me, that makes sense.
Right. Well, okay. Here's Here's the question. Why show the flashback at the end of the movie if she's not remembering it and it is a repressed memory?
Yeah.
That's actually kind of a good point. I actually hadn't thought about it that way. I mean, you can see it both ways.
Right. Well, that's interesting, though.
It's interesting because it's Jeremiah 1:1.
Yeah,
it's mirrors.
There you go.
Both could be true.
I'm going to go ahead and have fun with the idea that she knew the whole time until someone tells me differently, because I think it's interesting, the idea of like, it's not like, fuck, I'm terrified of this girl I saw. It's like, fuck, I don't want to lose this bullshit life I've placed myself in. I remember what it was like down there.
Yeah.
And, you know,
I
that's
don't
not
want
what
that.
Yeah. Was the kid switched?
Oh, which one?
So the theory running now is that the little boy was switched on a previous trip. Which this is a fun one too, because there's like little hints to it. Like he kind of remembers that magic trick, but he really doesn't. He's digging tunnels on the beach instead of like building a sandcastle. There's just little nuggets.
I'm gonna say why I don't think that's the case.
I don't think he is either. But
I don't think he is, because I don't think that the mom ever got them close enough to that beach to have that switch happen.
Possible. Yeah, it's a good point.
I just think, I mean, the way she's freaked out, there's just no way.
I mean, unless the little kid just like walked over to his house. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
And then, well, then there's also the fact that like, okay, well, the little kid doesn't talk, but his mouth is burned shut. So that covers up that excuse. It's just kind of a fun little nugget to think about.
But then why is he animalistic if he's only been there for a year?
That's true.
You know, I feel like
my problem with it was there would have had to have been a period of time where the kid was like not vocal and the mom would have known.
Yes.
Unless it's a completely repressed memory.
Yes.
I
loved Lupita Nyong'o. She
was great.
There's the scene where they're driving to the car, and her husband. You know, it's the side shot.
Driving to the car, the beach, or the cabin.
Driving to the
cabin.
No. They're driving to the beach.
Okay.
And the husband's kind of like Santa Cruz or whatever. Like, you know, he's on the side and he's being all fun and boisterous. And she goes through about 6 or 7 different faces and emotions in that scene. You're like, holy shit, this is impressive acting. This is just impressive.
She was very good. She also had a really good moment when she killed the one white person and
loved it.
Like had the little giggle for a second.
Yep, loved it.
Yeah.
Loved that.
I liked the movie quite a bit. I thought it was really good. Tons to think about. Whether or not it's broken rules wise, maybe. I'm not sure. But I thought it was an effective horror movie. That also gave you something to think about. And these are movies I feel like are happening more now. There's been a few of them over the last couple of years.
Yes.
You know, where it's like, wow, like you have to have a brain to watch a horror movie, which is enjoyable to me. I'm happy about it.
Yeah. And I gotta say, like, there's actually some pretty cool little like action-y type shots in this.
Sure.
They're gonna run over the little girl and she jumps on the car. Like that was pretty good. I liked that. The ending fight scene between Lupita and Lupita.
Yes.
That was pretty sweet.
Lupita and Lupita.
Lupita and Lupita. Say that 7 times fast. Can't do it. Yeah, and they use that I'll have 5 or I got 5 on it.
Yeah,
song.
they like slow it down.
Yeah. Oh, that was really cool.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
That song was stuck in my head for a full fucking day, by the way.
And I liked that fight. I liked sort of the narrative that they established with it, where like the real version is much more adept at fighting.
Yes.
She's got the scissors. She's just kind of kicking the shit out of her. But all it takes is one clean blow from the Lupita we thought was the original.
Right.
And
and wasn't there like a little trick she kind of played too, where it's like they know each other so well that she knows that she's going to expect this. So, which was awesome.
Which is good. It's good. I liked certain things. Like I liked so they had the red jumpsuits, which I thought was kind of a callback. Like a lot of it is callback to like a thriller. Like like they got the one glove.
Sure.
They got the red, which is the red jacket that he's wearing in it. Obviously they're doing the Hands Across America thing, that's kind of funny.
That was interesting too.
Yeah.
Like that's another one where it's like, you could talk about that. Like, why is that such a thematic thing in the movie? It's like, okay, that was one of the last things she saw. Like it obviously resonated with her before she made the switch.
Yes.
And then It's like, well, you guys, because apparently it was like a failed experiment.
Yeah.
Like they only raised like $15 million.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, fuck you. We're just going to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and the thing is like when she went down, they were doing like it was coming up. She actually never saw it fail, which is kind of interesting.
But she would have known it failed because nobody downstairs was doing it. Like you would have been like, if they're following everything they're doing, I mean, they have to have some sort of awareness. It's weird. It's like they have to have an awareness that they're not in control. I think it's just, that's the shit where it's like, you don't know.
It doesn't line up perfectly. Like I said, there's just quite a bit of like, you know, how does Lupita control other Lupita? You know, how there's just certain things that don't line up perfectly, whereas Get Out was very clean, it just kind of just logically just very clean.
Well, Get Out wasn't. This is what's awesome is he did something different.
Yeah, they're different movies.
It's still got like its metaphorical bullshit in it, which is good.
Yes.
It didn't do the same thing. It wasn't about race at all.
No,
I mean, I suppose we should mention that at all.
That was I think. The thing that I think some people are going to struggle with is because he made one movie on race and he's black. Of course he's going to make another movie on race. And it's like, interesting. And I was one of those people. I thought it was going to be like black on black crime. I thought that was going to be like a weird, but no. Complete misdirection in the trailers.
And he almost like fucked you in one moment. He was like, nope, that's not what this is about.
Yeah, because
like, that's it.
Because the white family shows up and it's instantly the movie changes.
Right.
And then there's even like sort of like, and
good job of hiding that this time with these trailers, because like you didn't have an inkling that was what was happening. The only thing I mentioned to the person I saw it with was, well, I kind of thought maybe that would happen for a second, because I remember in the trailer seeing the Mad Men girl, the Hulu show chick. I remembered seeing her hurt, and I was sitting there thinking, like, part of the way through the movie, like, well, wait a minute, why would they be after her? You know,
unless, I mean, you could make it up in your mind.
Like
you
could say, oh, they were in the house and that was why it happened, whatever. But yeah, it was awesome.
I did like that, and I liked how it just sort of divulged more information to you over the course of the movie. The way it came with the revelations was really sort of well timed.
Yes,
because there's the bit where the Mad Men girl is watching her husband be killed on the boat.
Elizabeth Moss.
Yes. And,
I did not look that up, people. By the
way, great job. But yeah, she's watching her husband be killed, and they hate each other. The real versions hate each other. And you're watching her, she's crying. You're like, oh my God, this is the opposite. They love each other. These versions.
Yes, it's true.
And then she goes nuts and she starts laughing. And you're like, interesting. You know, we had a little bit of an idea and he took it away. It's like, no. They're not just opposites.
No, they're not.
So that was interesting.
That whole part was great.
Yeah.
With the family and like the bitchy daughters, and
loved it.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
There's a lot to like in this movie. It's why it's at least a B for me.
It honestly is too. It's like I think in an interview he had said, like, Us is going to be about how race has nothing to do with it. And it almost was like, like it didn't fucking matter at all, really.
Yeah.
Like, they happen to be black people, which is great because it's, you know, I know he's a big proponent from watching that horror noir Shudder documentary. I know he's a big proponent of, like, you know, black people never really had the main role in a horror movie. It was always like a bit part on the side or whatever.
Right.
And like, maybe that's the only reason they're black, I guess.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And that's completely fine.
Yes. But if people are upset, and I bet you're right. I bet you there's people that wanted like another
Get Out
race movie. Yeah. And it's like, well, sorry, but you know what? Now it's like, now you can go into the third movie he makes being like, who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Right.
All you know is it's going to be horror. You don't even know that because, like, you know, he's in talks for fucking Akira, you know?
Yep. True.
So, and based on this, I think he could do decent action scenes.
I think he's just awesome.
I think
period.
He's raising the bar for us all.
Yes, I would agree.
Thank you, Jordan.
Also, I do want to note that this further cements him as the perfect choice as the Twilight Zone host.
Oh yeah,
because these two movies are fucking.
He's good.
Yeah, they're just like Twilight Zone movie. Like, you know. yeah, it's a good choice. I'm excited for that show now too.
So that's a recommendation from both of us.
Yes, I would say so. I would say it's a high recommendation, regardless of it not being like the greatest fucking movie. It's one that should be supported. It's interesting as fuck. I think it's a good time overall.
Yep, I had a good
fun
time
with it.
I mean, other than the assholes in the theater that I saw it with.
Hold on. You go first. We'll end this review with this.
Okay. Well, okay, so teenage girls just
are the worst.
And I've been thinking about this because I know you had an experience. And sometimes I think the problem with horror is that people like to watch horror in the theaters the way they watch horror at home.
Sure.
Which is they don't want to be scared, so they talk through it and they laugh through it. And this is how I cope with watching a horror is I kind of distract myself. Fuck you. You're in public. Don't be a bitch or an asshole.
Yes, I would agree completely.
Because these kids, they're sitting right next to us. One, I was lucky enough they were sitting in our spot, but we actually had better seats that we could take because the people who bought those seats did not show up.
Oh.
So I sat in those seats and I let the kids have the shittier seats. We had the little bit more centered seats.
Okay.
But the kids were still loud. They were talking, like they weren't like super loud, but they were talking throughout the whole movie, kind of like quiet enough. But they never reached that level where I was like, shut the fuck up. You know, it was just kind of like I waited. The whole movie, I'm sitting there and I'm like, if they say one more thing, I'm going to do it. And they went like the last 20, 30 minutes without saying
without
anything.
talking.
Yeah. But I was on the edge.
Your description of like the problem with horror reminds me of, I think it was Scary Movie or something. Mm-hmm. Like they had the scene where they're making fun of like the scene from Scream 2,
right?
Where Omar Epps and I think it was Jada Pinkett in Scream 2, were like at the movie, like because in Scream 2, like they had started making movies in the movie about the actual. Yeah. And she was playing like the stereotypical black lady who's like, no, don't go in there.
Yep.
You know, whatever. That's what that reminds me of. Because you're right. I think that like they watch it like that. That's what they want to do. It's like, no, you're in public. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You know,
sorry.
People, they as in people, not any specific type of person.
Yes.
But so I had a good one too. In my movie, my screening of this, during the fireside chat scene where like families are
really?
Yes.
That's the scene.
Someone either was on their phone or had some sort of a disability. I want to say phone. Mm-hmm. I think it was phone. But they were sitting in the wheelchair aisle. You could kind of pinpoint the sound from there. But yeah, talking. Somebody shushed them. Finally, like after like a minute or two of straight, like you can hear her talking, like she's having a conversation with someone.
Oh my God.
And somebody just yelled, shut the fuck up, as loud as possible in the theater.
Good.
It was a great moment. Nobody applauded, but yes. But what is it? Yeah, I'm sorry.
I do think that that's what it is. People want to watch horror the way that they watch it at home. In your case,
this was like this wasn't even regarding the fucking
That's
movie.
True. That's a good point.
This was like, I mean, it makes you want to see movies like at like 8 a.m. Like call the theater and be like, hey, can you just screen this for me at 8 a.m. by myself?
Well, and I was kind of thinking, I was like actually thinking about this because you, I believe, went opening night, right? Was this Thursday or was this Friday?
7 p.m. on Friday.
Yeah, so you went with the crowd of people that were probably the most excited to see this movie.
Except for her.
And that's the problem is like I've always found like Thursday night, Friday night movies tend to be the best. It's the crowd that is the most into the movie.
Sure.
It's why I don't like going on Saturdays or Sundays if I can avoid it.
That's true, because that's people are like, oh, well, I don't want to go to a packed movie. I'm not, you know, obviously, like I know I already made plans, regrettably, to see Avengers on Friday night, which I know I'm going to want to kill myself on Thursday night when it's playing and I'm not there. Mm-hmm. But I know like I would never, like, that's my point, is I want to kill myself because I'm not there.
Yeah.
Like, there's people that don't feel that way.
I'm going opening night, first screening. Oh, man, it's happening.
I'm really pumped. But yeah, no, but people, behave yourselves at movies.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And with that PSA, we've been bored and annoyed. I'm home at the movies.
And I'm Jackson.
Thanks for listening, guys. Bye. That one was good.